Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Yeah, I just ate like 2 minutes ago, so forgive me if I'm burping in the microphone here. Try not to. Yeah, I'm here to visit this Fitzroy Academy of Getting Shit Done. Anyone not heard about it? Oh, yeah, everyone's heard about it, sort of. Yeah, it's a great academy. I like it. In this fast-moving industry, you need to like invent something new, right? Myself, I'm a student in Sweden, kind of the opposite of getting shit done. Just finishing my 3 years of studying information systems, which you think that I probably know, and I probably do, but it's kind of good in Sweden to get it on paper, because I've been kind of in the shadows of all this Pirate Bay thingy for a long time, so many people in Sweden don't know what I've done. And speaking to a new employee, it could be good to show that I actually know some of this. So that's why I'm doing that. Plus I have kids, and it's great to be a student if you have kids. Or it's great to have kids if you're a student. Yeah, something. Anyway, I should just talk a little bit about this, and then we do a lot of questions, which is way more fun. But this whole story kind of started in 2002, when we were a bunch of like anarchists and hackers and slackers that wanted to do fun stuff. So we gathered on a IRC channel. Anyone here been on an IRC channel? Hands up. IRC is like the best. I have no idea how you can run anything without IRC. That's how we've done it all through the years. People ask us, do you have any offices? Can I come and visit? Yeah, sure. The channel is square and this and this. They don't get it. It's super. Anyway, we gathered in 2002 and we were like, hey, we should do something fun. The anarchists were like, I'm so sick of the leftist movement. They don't do anything. They just do their demonstrations and blah, 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 blah. It's so boring. We should do something more fun. We have the internet. We can do anything. And the hackers like, yeah, we should disrupt shit. We should destroy. We should hack the world, you know? And when all these met, fun stuff started to happen. The first thing I think we did was a call on the elections. There was elections in Europe about if we should have a coin for all of Europe, which we thought was kind of a stupid thing, that whatever currency we have, there's still going to be capitalism and people are still going to be exploited and so on. So we made this site called, translated into something like the currency thingy, sort of point biz, and we actually made a lot of fake profiles of people selling their votes. Like we had a middle-aged businessman selling his vote, and this profile said like, yeah, I don't care about this election, you can have my vote for $10 or something. And then you could like buy the vote, or you can raise the vote. Yeah. Sort of, you can raise the level, you know, how much you want to pay for it. So we got a lot of media through that, which was really fun. Because we didn't really care about the election, but we found out that if you made like a conflict about it and you were kind of daring about what you thought, you would get a lot of media, which was fun for a bunch of anarchists and hackers. And we got sued, of course, because it's kind of illegal to sell votes. But the domain was registered by a fake name, of course, so we got away. But by doing that, we kind of realized, hey, it's kind of fun to play with the media, and it's kind of fun to disrupt stuff. So when there was a group called the Anti-Pirate Bureau in Sweden, it was somewhat of a Swedish MPAA, we thought, hey, if there's an anti-pirate bureau, there should be like a pirate bureau, right? Yeah, let's form a pirate bureau. Yeah, it would be like pro-piracy and stuff. So we made a site like for 2 days and made a lot of statements. Yeah, abolish copyright, you know, 100 megabit broadband for everyone. That's a human need and stuff like that. And of course we got a lot of media by that too, which was kind of the point of it. And then it kind of grew into a movement. A lot of people came to us and made it their like life's cause of piracy, which kind of wasn't our intention, but that was cool, I guess. So in 2003, when BitTorrent protocol became kind of popular, we thought that, hey, this is a better protocol than everything else, because before that it was Direct Connect and there was Kazaa and Napster and all that crap. It wasn't that effective, as I guess many of you know. So we thought, hey, we should do like a torrent site. That would be cool. So we asked around a bit and we found this guy called Anakata. Gottfried was his name. A very young, very talented hacker that liked the drugs a little bit too much. But he was like, yeah, I can code a tracker tonight, so I'll talk to you tomorrow. And the next morning he had made a BitTorrent tracker, which was kind of his way of doing stuff. So we launched the Pirate Bay, and it was all in Swedish back then. Everything was in Swedish, the news were in Swedish, all titles and everything. But it grew rapidly, and suddenly we had like millions of users using the site, and we're like, hey, okay, why do they come to a Swedish tracker? And it was probably just because we were one of the first trackers, and one of the most popular torrents on the site was a Swedish language course, because people wanted to learn Swedish so they could use the site. So I guess we should get like a prize from the Swedish government for tourism or something. But then we realized, okay, we should probably translate it to English, if there's so many people. So we translated it into English and released a language file. So there's a lot of people to translate it into Chinese and every other language. And boom, the site went up to like one of the world's 100 biggest sites. And in 2005, like just when YouTube started, we had like our tracker generated 40% of the bandwidth on the entire internet, which was, yeah, felt kind of weird, since we were just a few guys and girls sitting on an IRC tracker trying to have fun. And suddenly we had this responsibility and didn't really know what to do with it. But and at the same time, like the Pirate Party started, and they did a political cause about it, which we really didn't know what to think about it, because on the internet you don't have to compromise. The internet is internet. It is 10 or 15 years in front of any parliament in the world. Any law they make, they'll still be behind a few years. So we didn't understand that compromising thing. But anyway, we suddenly had a lot of responsibility, and we try to use that responsibility in like forming things the way we wanted. We like changed the logo on the front page quite often, as you might have seen, and like when there was a revolution almost happening in Iran, we changed the logo to the Persian Bay, and linking it to sort of a support group for the rebels in Iran, where they had this project of trying to fly weather balloons in over Iran so they could distribute a free Wi-Fi. So that was fun stuff to support. And at the same time, there were these agreements and laws being made, like ACTA and SOPA and PIPA, and then suddenly you have the NSA snooping around in everyone's computer. So we tried to do our best with that, but at the same time we wanted to have a lot of fun, so we played a lot of jokes on people all over the years, which has been really fun. Like since this has been a hobby from like day one, I've never made $1 by doing this. We could like, it didn't matter for us if there 1,000 people left the site. Like one day we decided, hey, we should play a trick on the users. Yeah. So we made this sign like cease and desist, regards FBI and FBA and so. your IP number will be tracked and so on. And we got a lot of hate for that, but it was all fun. And if our point had been in making money out of this, that would probably have been a stupid decision to scare our customers away. But yeah, that's how we did. And yeah, April Fools was always very fun because we did jokes about moving to North Korea, and we made jokes about moving to America, and those were kind of interesting because when you see the comments on those, which I read earlier today to refresh my memory, when we did this, we're moving to North Korea, the best country in the world, we said, and the comments were like, either they were like, oh fuck you, you abandoned freedom, I thought you were something for freedom. And the other said, well, if that's what it takes to, you know, have information for you, know, North Korea might not be that bad, you know. All these documentaries, they come from the US anyway, so I don't know what to think, man, you know. And then we moved to the US, which we obviously can't do. But then the comments were like, hey, fuck the USA, what are you doing there? I'm not coming back to this shitty site. And others were like, yeah, America, fuck yeah. So, I guess we're always pissing off someone, which is kind of the point from day one. But anyway, I left the Pirate Bay a few years ago, and I should probably say, for legal reasons, that I have not any responsibility for the site, and I've not been working for the site for the last 4 years. So I've done a lot of fun stuff, but I got kids a few years ago, and I didn't want to risk anything, so I left the site and might have some new fun stuff ahead. So that's my short story. Questions, please.
Awesome stuff, thanks man. Before I throw it out to the audience, definitely raise your hands and I'll get to you in the order that I can see you, so keep waving until I say, yep, cool, I've seen you. Before we kick it off, I have two questions. One is, if you have 40% of the internet's traffic, how badly does Australia's internet suck? And then secondly, can you say the word Australia in one syllable?
Yeah, I've been tricked on that. I get to love it. Yeah, Australian internet really sucks, you know. And when we started this Pirate Bureau in Sweden, we actually made a demonstration May 1st, which was a PR stunt, of course. We gathered a lot of geeks and nerds and said, yeah, we're gonna do this demonstration, you should come. And 200 like geeks and nerds showed up with sharing and caring signs and whatever, and which of course got a lot of media there because they wanted funny pictures of stupid nerds running around the streets on May 1st instead of just the normal of riots and stuff. And we made these demands that abolish copyright and 100 megabit is a need for everyone. And then, this was like 8 years ago, everyone laughed at us, 100 megabit, who needs that? And like 2 years after that, the Swedish government actually stated that within 2015, like 95% of all the Swedes must have 100 megabit broadband. So I think it's important to make these unrealistic claims, and I think you should put some pressure on the politicians and the media. Use the media, it's fun. Australia.
Thanks, Kevin. Sorry, I've been making you practice that all week. Just for comparison as well, 100 megabit is the speed that YBF has. So we're a space that supports about 60 or so different companies. The residential speed for 95% of Sweden is equal to what we have here.
Down and up.
And up, yeah. We suck. So questions, I had a gentleman over here.
No comment, confidential. No, but actually, I know some of these guys still, of course, and I keep an eye on it because I think it's interesting, even though I don't work with it. Yeah, sort of, and they don't want to be that very open right now, those people, which is kind of understandable. That was fun, that was so fun. So we found this ad somewhere that a guy who just outside of England who owned an old oil platform, and we thought, hey, because he had claimed that it was an entire nation, like sovereignty and stuff, which no other country cared about. But anyway, he claimed it was in a country. And we thought, hey, we should have it in our country. That would be cool. We can say we have our servers there, and no one can be able to attack us, and we can have cannons and stuff. So we started this kind of a crowdfunding, like, hey, we want to buy a nation. Yeah, we want to become a nation. And people, always the same. Some people said, oh, you're stupid, that won't work. And the other, yeah, let's form a nation. Yeah, I'm gonna move there. It's gonna be so cool. Yeah, see you then. Fuck yeah. So we got like $80,000 or something for a few days, and actually made contact with the guys at Sealand, and they were positive at first, and then suddenly all contact stopped, and they didn't reply on our emails. And like a month later, I read in the news that a Hollywood studio had approached Sealand and wanted to make a movie about it just then. So stuff happened. So we actually bought a little bit of rainforest for the money instead.
Any other questions?
In the jungle? Sort of. In Brazil somewhere, I don't know. I have like a diploma or something back home. Yeah. Good enough? No. Well, I sad to say that I'm not a real tech guy, and these tech guys that handle all that are really, really good, so I never understand anything that they say. It's like an alien language to me. And but as you've seen, we've done some domain hopping through the years, and it started out by having .org, and we heard these rumors about they're going to shut down every .org domain that was like ours, and so we bought the .se domain, and we moved there, and then Sweden shut us down, and they moved to Norway and to Peru and all that. And that domain hopping might seem silly since the .org still works, but I think the strategy is to show that it doesn't matter if they shut a domain down, because there are always going to be new domains. I think there's 70 left or something. And an interesting thing about that is, as I left the Pirate Bay, I said that in the future we can't rely on sites like the Pirate Bay, like an open site with actual people being responsible for it, because in the future, as in 10 or 15 years from now, there will be people sharing prints for guns and car parts and shoes and whatever, maybe even food, you know, and there will be some kind of major players in the game by now. You don't mess with the gun industry or the car industry, or maybe even nations that depend on it. So that's why I mean that the Pirate Bay should shut down right now, actually, because the Pirate Bay has become so dominant that everyone just relies on the Pirate Bay always being there, and that is a problem, because I think that makes people not inventing anything new, which was in the case when we started. Like when we started the Pirate Bay, we thought, hey, this could be fun for like a year or two, and then something new will come and replace BitTorrent, because that had been the case before that, like Kazaa and all those, they lived like for a year or two. So my proposition was that they should make something that doesn't rely on a web page, but something that could maybe be like a cloud. And I've heard that they're working on something like that right now, like that you're supposed to be downloading a browser, sort of a Firefox browser with a tracker and all the torrents encrypted, embedded into it, so that you become the tracker and you become the cloud. Not like in the Wire, like the TV series, not like that. Now I live a kind of normal life, and I think the others do too, the ones who are not prosecuted. But you know, we live in Sweden, and that was our point from the beginning, that Sweden is not a state in the United States. So what happened? The American laws doesn't really apply on us. I mean, we might do illegal stuff in Sweden, but
they don't follow their own laws, like.
Sorry?
they don't even follow their own laws. They could send spies in Sweden, and you like, how can we know?
Well, what happened when there was a raid in 2006 was the prosecutor had been given a mission from the Swedish government to like look into the Pirate Bay case to see if the site could be shut down. And he did an investigation for 2 months, and he came back, and now there is no room in Swedish law to shut this site down. Okay, and 2 months later, the Swedish Justice Department was called to Washington to meet the American Justice Department, and they told the Swedes that if you don't handle the Pirate Bay problem, Sweden's going to be blacklisted at the WTO. That was kind of fun for us, you know, we're anarchists, so fun to be at that high level, but I think that's pretty much as far as they were willing to go. I don't think they're send spies to kill us. You know? But they might do when we share blueprints of cars and all that, so that's why I think we need some change. And I still have my phone for 2 years. So.
I've got a quick question, I'll jump over here. Kim.com, the illegal New Zealand raid in Mega, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think his music videos are kind of funny, and I don't know him personally, but the people that I know that know him say that he's become sort of a megalomaniac, obviously. Pretty much the same with the Assange case, really. You'd think that if he really cared about WikiLeaks, he should have let other people continue doing it while he's you know, sitting at that embassy in London, but I think he's afraid to let it go. Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. Well, there was a lot of ideology. Like some of us thought that this is a time in history when capitalism is trying to roll out this new idea about intellectual property, and we thought, many of us, that intellectual property is kind of strange because you can't own ideas in our eyes, and that was one part of starting the site. Another reason was like that we were idealists, many of us. We wanted to spread culture all over the world, you know, even though most of people just download the latest boring Hollywood movie, there's so much on the Pirate Bay that actually can't be reached by others. We get a lot of emails from people from all over the world that saying that, like, thanks us for being the only source for information, and that keeps us going. Because we live in Sweden, where everyone has access to pretty much anything. There's Netflix and Spotify and all that, but it's not like that in all over the world. So right now, most of our users come from India and Brazil and all those countries where it's not that easy. So the Pirate Bay still matters. As you've seen, there's a lot of crappy ads on the Pirate Bay. I'd recommend everyone to use AdBlock Plus. Do it. It's so crappy. But the problem for the Pirate Bay is that they can't get any other ads. Like if a normal company would advertise on the Pirate Bay, they would immediately get a lot of legal threats from the MPAA and Hollywood studios. So that's why there's only like Russian mafia poker sites. Meet new singles in your next door or something. But for many years, the site just went plus minus zero. Like didn't make any money at all. In the absolute beginning, we actually spent a lot of money on running the site, and we got free servers and free bandwidth, and that's pretty much how it survived in the beginning. I've heard that these last years, after I dropped out, they are maybe starting to getting some money out of it, and I think that's a problem, because even though I don't find piracy as wrong, I think it's wrong to like profit from it. That's actually a question for the Pirate Party, like that actually cares about laws and politics.
Repeat the question.
Oh yeah, my thoughts on the copyright law in the US and Australia. No, but I think if you're into the internet and if you like politics on the internet, it's kind of boring to just focus on the laws because they are so behind everything else. Yeah. Just focus on what comes ahead instead.
Yeah.
Well, like 2 years ago, I think the Pirate Bay moved into lots of cloud services, and they like masked it very well. They're really, really good. Even though I don't know all these techie stuff, it really shows that they're really, really good at what they do. So they're always like a few steps ahead. I kind of, personally, just now I sort of left this international arena, except for traveling around and doing this kind of talks. But politically, myself, I'm more organized locally right now. What happens in my hometown? What happens to the city? How it's developing and so on? Which is
no more disruption.
No more disruption? Well, I'm getting old and I have kids and so on now. No, but I would love some disruption again. Yeah, that's fun. That's way more fun. But I think it's important to be locally engaged too, you know. Yeah, I love it. And I'm just pissed that I didn't invest in Bitcoins when I first read about it. Of course, like everyone else, I guess. But hey, we're anarchists. We love to disrupt the banking system. Yeah. Hopefully it's going to grow. Well, it is both scary and inspirational. Yeah. I would love if that happened, and I would kind of fear it too, because people are going to print guns and, you know, whatever, if the Pirate Bay exists or not, somewhere there are going to be prints, and I would love there to be a public, transcendent file sharing service where there is peer review and everyone can see what exists, because those people who want to print guns will print guns, you know, no matter what. No. Okay, if I have any moral thoughts about people losing jobs and so on, no. No, I think those who should have moral issues about that are the bosses that make hundreds of millions of dollars of this, because I don't. And if the Pirate Bay wouldn't exist, there would be another tort service. Like, this is something that happens in technology. There comes disruptive ideas, which, you know, kills an old business model, and they just have to deal with it. And some of them have been very good at it, and some, well, most of them have been really bad about it. Well, yeah, but we just wanted to get it out there as much as possible, like all over the world. We try to make our part as easy as possible. You know, we wanted people to file share. Yeah. Do you have any ideas? I would love to hear them. Oh, I'm supposed to answer that, yeah? Well, maybe not changing diapers, but yeah, my kids, of course. But the fun thing about the Pirate Bay, when we started, it was a bunch of unemployed slackers, like didn't have any commitments at all. So we kind of worked with these projects 24/7. Yeah, become unemployed. Well, hopefully this new pirate browser with embedded tracker and torrents will be very decentralized, that each one of you that installs it will become the tracker, which is probably as decentralized as you can get. That's kind of confidential. I don't think I can answer that, and I don't really actually know everything about it. But there's never been an organization, not owning it, just There hasn't been like an ownership either. There's been some guy who was willing to be the owner of the domain, and some guy who owned the servers, like legally. There hasn't been that much structure really. Anarchists knew each other, and the hackers knew each other, and then we just converged on an IRC channel, and that was pretty much it. Yeah, and like, it took 4 or 5 years until I met some of them, like face to face, which was kind of odd. We were like, hey, I think I know you. Yeah, you're that guy with that name. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Yeah. And they were like, back online. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, we should meet again. Yeah. In an anarchist mode, yeah, we were. But we had one friend that was just had just examined as a lawyer. That knew some of it. So, but when we replied to the email, we were just in anarchist mode. Yeah, like we felt invincible, really, which was it was fun, but probably not the most wise. But it got a lot of attention. So. There's never been any bad PR for the Pirate Bay, because every time there's anything written about the Pirate Bay, there's always at least one new person that's like, hey, it's the Pirate Bay, you can download stuff. Yeah, cool, man, I'm gonna see that. So whatever the site does, it's gonna get more attention.
So you joked about routing traffic through North Korea, but there was a moment where it almost ended up on North Korean soil. Can you talk about that?
True story, yeah. So in Stockholm, Sweden, there's a North Korean embassy. We got to know one guy who knew another guy and who knew another guy that actually worked at the embassy. And we're like, hey, we should place the service in North Korea. That would be so cool, yeah. So we got in contact with him, and like, we want to place the trackers at your embassy. Is that okay? You got the 100 megabit flag? Yeah, sure we do. And sadly, that guy then moved back to North Korea. We don't know the reason, but it was like so close from actually being on North Korean soil, which would have been so funny. That was also very fun, yes. Well, there are so many episodes in that story, but it was when there was a lot of talks about seizing the site and so on, and we released a statement that we were going to place the servers up in the clouds, like the actual clouds. We're going to like buy a bunch of weather balloons and send them off into space. I personally actually bought a lot of weather balloons, but never got around to making a funny video about it. We wrote a lot of tech specifics about how we're going to transmit the signal back down to Earth and so on. Yeah. Half of the world got it, and half of the world didn't get it. Yeah, that was fun. And another episode is that I think that was an April Fool's joke. Cool, that's our idea. We're gonna get money for that. We're gonna sue Google. Yeah. It's a cool idea. I hope you get better Wi-Fi here then. In my hometown, there's free Wi-Fi all over the town. Yeah, you got that? No.
That's what I was going to ask, actually, whether you had that idea before Google did. And apparently,
yeah. Give me the money, Google. Before I got here, so that I could watch on the plane. Yeah. The DVD screeners nowadays are so good, you know? Yeah. Like, yeah, no VHS screeners, that was back in the day.
What's your user number?
My user number? Oh, at the Pirate Bay is 7. Yeah, cool. I would download the car if I could, yeah. And I would print the shit out of that car. What my role was, since I'm not a tech guy, there was no real clear roles, but I wrote a lot of stuff. and I did a few logos, and I tried to keep shit together. Because it was really weird working with people from all over the world, and one guy uses drugs kind of frequently, which is bad. Don't do drugs. I personally don't even drink beer, but I guess it's good with diversity. So yeah, there you go. And yeah, trying to keep shit together. If they've been successful, yeah, every now and then. Like the movie studios never like succeed in that, but the only ones who succeed are like 16-year-old hacker kids that want to try something new in the future. Yeah, so that is kind of cool, I guess.
Do you like recruit them?
Well, no, we don't. No, we don't need over people. No, I don't work with the Pirate Bay, but when I did, no, because there are not that many people that work with the Pirate Bay.
And I'll admit to it.
The documentary, yeah. It is accurate since it's a documentary, I guess, but it's kind of boring that it only focuses on the legal issues, which has been like the least interesting stuff in all these years. Would have been so much more fun if they focused on all the fun stuff that we did. It would be a fun movie. So, yeah. Oh, if we had the money to remove it. No, I don't think so, actually. We've only, like all these legal threats came in the beginning and we replied to them in kind of a funny manner, and then all the legal threats stopped coming because they understood that they're just gonna make fool of themselves. But we've never gotten any money offers, no. Which is probably wise, because we would have made that public too. And one funny story is that we once tried to sell the site. So we made a press release that we wanted to sell the site, and then we had like 3 potential buyers contacting us. One was a sort of a prince from Saudi Arabia or something that wanted to, I don't know if it's called prince there, but something. His point was, because he made a lot of press releases too, his point was to make the Pirate Bay a legal site. That's what he wanted to do. But he actually just wanted to buy the domain and place a lot of high-profile ads on them, so he would get a lot more money back. But he didn't have the money that we demanded. We demanded like $10 million or something, which I guess we just spent on something fun instead. But he didn't have all the money. He had like $5 million and went to offer and said like, yeah, I can give you the rest in stock. And we're like, no, we understand what you're doing here. Your stock is going to be useless in 2 weeks. And, well, you can have my boat. And I went, what? What do we need a boat for? We sit in the IRC channel, dude. So we didn't sell the site anyway. A new site which was slightly better, because the Pirate Bay was pretty much old, scrappy code just being put together. And we built the Super Bay, so the plan was like the day after the purchase we would release the Super Bay. And sadly that didn't work out, so we just ditched that idea. It's just lying there somewhere on a box. Sorry. It wasn't really that much better. Visually, it looks a little bit better. It's very, very clean still, but basically it was just better code. Well, when I was invited here to Fitzroy GSD, Will just sent me an email like, okay, Tobias, I need a video from you in like 10 minutes, telling people to come to GSD. And I was like, oh, okay, because I was sick and I was home with 2 kids and it was raining outside. I was just about to go out, so I just ate 2 aspirin or something and went out and took my cell phone and made a video of myself in the rain. My kids are screaming and singing in the background. And I said something like, and if your pitch doesn't end with the lion and the Cubs can't do shit, your startup idea sucks. No, very cool, huh? Yeah. Think about that. You're entrepreneur guys. Yeah. There's a lot of people being appreciative to what we have done, but the Pirate Bay wouldn't be anything without all the users. I mean, the users is what has created the site. If the user didn't want to use the site, it wouldn't have been at the Pirate Bay. So yeah, thank you guys. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for coming. Quick shout out just to wrap it up. So I do organise the Hack and Tell meetup, which is what this was about. This is the biggest Hack and Tell meetup we've had. I'm not really sure why. It's a little different from our usual format. But if you're into that sort of stuff, it's just a forum to show off your cool hacks and whatever you've built and that sort of stuff. We'd love to have you all. You're now all on the email list, so you're going to get spammed. Cool. Otherwise, yeah, thank you all so much for coming. Welcome to hang around, have some whatever's left of the beer. Grab a chair, have a chat. Yeah, we won't be shutting this for a while. So thanks so much for coming.